Hello, my wonderful chemistry students. Video number 2, ionic versus covalent bonding. These are the two main kinds of bonding we are going to study in this unit. There is actually so much to do about ionic and covalent bonding. There's actually going to be two videos about the subject. So how many different kinds of bonding are there? Well, we're going to study the two main ones, ionic, covalent, and is the major focus. There is also metallic. Metallic is the between two metal atoms, okay? So here's a good pictorial, right? I have two atoms here on the left. They decide to share electrons. Both are, these electrons are going to be used between both atoms. So covalent is sharing. I form a bond here on the right-hand side with a complete transfer where there was an electron here and he went over there. He's now on the other negative ion, and then the two ions come together like magnets. That is called ionic. Okay, so now it's up to us to kind of figure this stuff out. Let's start with ionic compounds. Metals always lose to a non-metal. So there's always a metal and there's always a non-metal. One surefire way to show that I have an ionic bond. Um, metals a metal combines with a polyatomic ion. That's also another way I can have an ion. So I can take a metal, sodium, and this is a NO3 is a polyatomic ion. Poly meaning many atoms that make an ion. Polyatomic ion. We have a table of them, so we don't have to memorize them. Table E in our reference tables, we will see very clearly which ones they are. Polyatomic ion combines with a non-metal because I have an ion acting like a metal combining with a non-metal that will be ionic. A polyatomic ion combining with another polyatomic ion. I have two ions forming, ionic. So, four different ways to make an ionic compound. Okay? Covalent compounds are a little bit simpler. I have to have two nonmetals. Two nonmetals sharing electrons equally or unequally, we'll find, will make for a covalent bond. Quick summary. Metal and a nonmetal. If I take a metal and a nonmetal and put it together, I have an ionic bond. Just a real quick summary of what we just went over really fast. A metal and a polyatomic ion. I am ionic. I have an ion in there. A nonmetal and a polyatomic ion. Well, that's ionic. And two ions together. Oh, this is ionic. And then two nonmetals. This is covalent. I did not spell that even close to right. That's all right. That's what we got erasers for. Covalent. Mr. Milks, thank you. I can almost read it. Beautiful. Covalent. And two nonmetals is covalent. Of course, they're all going to have all sorts of different properties, and we're going to have to get into that so we can tell the difference between an ionic substance and a covalent substance. That, of course, is going to be our lab for this unit. You're going to get two powders, and you're going to have to figure out are they ionic or covalently bonded based on how their properties work. Metals, real quick. Pure substances, of course, remember they're left of the staircase. They're going to lose their electrons, of course. Because they don't keep good track of their electrons, we say they flow in a sea of mobile electrons. That's a really good thing because now we have the electricity that works, when they throw through metal. I can have the current or the wave or the flow of electrons. So real quick summary about ionic and covalence and what they are. Next video, we are going to dig in just a bit deeper. Now, we can tell real quick between what an ionic and covalent bond is just based on metal, non-metal, two polyatomic ions, a metal with a polyatomic ion, a non-metal with a polyatomic ion are all ionic. Covalents are a little bit simpler and more straightforward. Two nonmetals sharing electrons. We now can complete the Venn diagram on their properties very, very soon. Actually, the Venn diagram properties are actually going to probably be next video, but it's all coming together. I will see you guys tomorrow in class.